The UFC roster is heavily armed with undefeated names who are also very young fighters. In addition to well-known guys climbing through higher ranks, we're gonna put our spotlight on undefeated names that have yet to be heard. So, subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell for more new videos. The first Kazakhstani who signed a contract with the UFC is the undefeated Shavkat Rakhmonov. Nomad has high potential to become the first Kazakh champion and immortalize his name in the history of his nation. His career passed in 9 years with a 100% finish organizations. With a score of 17 victories consisting of 8 knockouts and 9 submissions, Rakhmonov climbed quickly and high in the rankings in just 5 UFC matches, where he holds the 5th spot. But before the title shot, Nomad will have another difficult but not impossible task against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson. It will be interesting to see how he copes against the ex-title challenger. Although he only scratches the top of the rankings in eliminated names such as Jeff Neal and Neil Magny with the finish, Rakhmonov is a dangerous man with a well-rounded game, ranked as a master of sport in combat sambo and style. He's one of those fighters whose opponents cannot find success in any segment of the game due to his wide arsenal of weapons and high fighting IQ.
For whatever reason, but I think he's someone to keep an eye on.
It's the first time I've ever saw him, yeah.
He's good. See, he's got submissions, no doubt. I mean, he's good at everything.
The next chapter for the featherweight title and undefeated fighter with 14 wins is Ilia Topuria. The Georgian Spanish in Brave FC, among other organizations before coming to the spotlight of the UFC. El Matador secured the opportunity for the title after 4 knockouts, 8 submissions, and only 2 decisions. On his active UFC tour, where he's only been 3 years, he defeated Ryan Hall and Mitchell spectacularly. And in the last match, he also won against the tough Josh Emmett by referee's decision. Ilia has been awarded with 3 matches, which speaks volumes for his performance, capable of dominating all aspects of this violent play, whoever his opponent is. This BJJ black belt has a dangerous ground game and one of the most lethal combinations that can turn the lights out in an instant. This man is nothing less than a machine with his fighting style and overconfident attitude, hungry for victory and featherweight gold.
Topuria is a nightmare.
Yes, he is.
He's a nightmare.
Yeah.
He's scary. What he did to Josh Emmett, I was like,
Nasty.
oh, man.
He's nasty.
What he did to Bryce Mitchell, like, oh.
He's so good. He's so skilled. He's got great boxing, got great takedown defense.
Everywhere.
Another undefeated featherweight comes from Russia, and his name is Movsar Evloev. The UFC's 2019 signing has proven a good investment, with 7 decision wins in a row. This master of sports in Greco-Roman wrestling mostly finds his key to victory in absolute dominance through 3 or 5 rounds. With the score of 17 wins, he also recorded 3 knockouts and 4 submissions. In his younger days, Movsar was a bantamweight fighter who, like every quality fighter from Russia, put to UFC, where he currently has 7 wins and is the fear and trembling of all featherweight fighters. As a top wrestler, Movsar makes great setups for takedowns with his bold forward pressure. With striking is versatile, using various tools, and has a high-quality takedown defense and clever scrambles. The moment he gets his grip, Evloev will do everything to bring an opponent to the ground. After his last victory against Diego Lopez, the cold Russian is ranked 5th in the UFC rankings and expressed his desire to fight with the big name. His wish was fulfilled, and his next test is a fight against Arnold Allen in February next year. The Dagestan region never stopped showering us with championship material. In the next wave of Dagestani fighters, UFC presents Umar Nurmagomedov, who brings us a slightly different fighting style than we're used to seeing from Russian soldiers. The multiple world amateur and professional bantamweight champion with 16 consecutive victories arrived in the UFC only in 2021, able to knock you out, submit, or beat you to a decision ladder. With his style, he emphasizes excellent and frequent kicks from a distance, where he finds success, and in case he takes you down, you know how the rest of your fight will go. This little cardio machine always dictates the course of the fight, and has impressed with 4 perfect performances for the UFC. Umar has yet to break through and start getting serious competition that will show how ready he really is for the world's highest level. However, Umar has yet to break through and start getting serious competition that will show how ready he really is for the world's highest level.
Mark my words, I'm saying it here. Umar will win the bantamweight UFC title. He will do it.
Within how long?
I would think 2 fights. You know, Umar's number 11 ranked. Okay, and some of these other guys that are much lower ranked, why would they fight Umar? He's too dangerous. To me, Umar's number 1. He's 11 in people's eyes, but remember, Islam Makhachev was number 11 too.
Yeah.
And in my eyes, I said, to me, he's the number 1. Yeah. Where is he now?
It's another prediction that's going to come.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Umar is going to be the champ.
So this dude, like, when he began his career, was like really highly touted before he lost his eye. So it's very interesting to see what happens.
He's
now.
still doing the damn thing.
Yeah.
Hey, what's the latest on that one welterweight from like that Kurdistan area?
Oh, Shavkat Rakhmonov.
Yes.
He's fighting Jeff Neal.
Yeah.
Woo.
He's a problem.
Look at this dude.
We're used to most wrestlers coming from Makhachkala, Dagestan. But Sharabutdin Magomedov comes in a completely different model. Shara is a high-level Muay Thai fighter and kickboxer with a record of 18 wins and 2 losses, conquering Russian boxing and Thai championships. He carried his striking efficiency into the cage, where he has 12 wins with 10 knockouts and 2 decisions, living up to his nickname Shara Bullet. Before coming to the UFC scene, he did a great job fighting in China, Russia, Brazil, and Thailand, knocking out everyone and everything with only one eye. In 2023, he signed for the world's biggest martial arts organization by decision. Magomedov is sharp and specific in the striking department and can wipe out an opponent with just one precise shot. Although his ground game was kind of exposed in the debut, where he showed that he is not that hard to take down, at least Magomedov knows what he needs to work on. After putting work in grappling training, it'll be an attraction to watch him realize his potential. Moving on to the lesser-known, undefeated names, we have Javid Basharat waiting for us, a guy to keep an eye on. The Afghan-British fighter has been active in various organizations since 2016, and he came to the world stage at Dana White's Contender Series, where he brutalized Oren Callan through 3 rounds. This bantamweight fighter has knocked out 5 and submitted 6 fighters in 14 appearances, and gone to the referee's decision only 3 times. But this man does not come alone, because his brother Farid is also a new and undefeated fighter in the UFC bantamweight division. With an 11-win record, he has similar fighting styles and career as his older brother, because the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Both have been performing for the UFC since 2022, where they came after the Contender Series, with Javid having 3 UFC wins and Farid 2. These Afghan-British brothers use quality striking and are very attractive to watch, and they're quite resourceful on the ground, where they can keep their opponents at bay for a long time.
Mean, nasty, you know, the entire fight, he was going for the finish. He destroyed him. He did whatever he wanted to do to him whenever he wanted to do it. Obviously, a lot of controversy going into this fight. He didn't let that.
That's what the president said about the older brother, and he certainly has the same positive opinion about the younger one. Japanese fighter Tatsuro Taira has not received the attention he deserves, so he's proudly on our list. This kid is only 23 years old, and his career was so effective that after 4 years of competition, he managed to earn the UFC contract. You know that whenever an Asian fighter gets a UFC contract, it's a legit fighter. This Okinawan samurai has 14 wins, with 4 knockouts, 7 submissions, and 4 decision fights. What's impressive is that he's only a purple belt in BJJ, and the highest percentage of victories is by forcing the opponent to tap. Tatsuro has countless ways to submit you, and just wait till this guy gets his black belt. The undefeated UFC prospect is thorough and precise with his punches and possesses supreme timing. He's creative and slick both on the ground and in the stand-up game, and persistent with his takedowns. Of course, Taira has a lot of holes in his game, but that opens up a lot of room for improvement, considering how young and persistent he is in training and competition. Supernova is coming off a knockout win in December 2023, and is a guy to watch out for as his career continues. Rinya Nakamura is another Japanese killer who found his way to the UFC in just a few years of competition. He comes from a freestyle wrestling background, where he competed for 9 years before making a full transition to MMA in 2021. The hybrid is the winner of the World U23 Championship in wrestling, and has been crowned several times with silver and bronze medals at world and regional competitions. His record of 8 wins in just 2 years is even more impressive because it consists of 5 knockouts, which shows that this grappler has power in his hands but also in his kicks. After excelling fighting in Japan, he got the chance for the Road to UFC tournament, where he finished 2 opponents in the first rounds and takes the finals with the finish, thus winning the tournament and the Performance of the Night bonus. After his last victory against Fernie Garcia in what can be said to be Rinya's debut, where he wowed the crowd. His UFC colleagues such as Gilbert Burns, Alexander Rakic, Paul Craig, and Jamal Hill are also impressed with his dominance. Rinya the Hybrid Nakamura, remember this guy. Now you know who you should keep an eye on in the coming year. And young and undefeated fighters are coming to the UFC from all over the world. There's so much young blood waiting to be boiled. Thanks again for staying tuned. Remember to like, subscribe, and keep your guard up. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.